Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing. Now this is a unique unboxing because usually I buy and I sell. And I buy and I sell and I buy and I buy and I buy and I sell and then I buy and buy and buy. But this one I actually traded. There was a listing for about $650 on the gallery owner's website and I was able to trade for it. So technically I got something for $650 that I paid $0 for. Technically, I mean, but if you really look at it, I bought the other stuff and then it was worth X amount of value and then I traded it and so that was a comparable exchange and whatever. But let's go ahead and get started and open this bad guy up. Alrighty, can't wait to get this one open. Use a little bit of scissors here. Go ahead and slice open the edges there, being careful. This one seems like it's packed it pretty well. I always get a little nervous. It has a slight bend to it, a slight curve, but not too bad. So I'm hoping that's just a little plastic wrap in there, giving it a little bit of warpage, but I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. It seems pretty sturdily packed. Sturdily? Is that a word? With great sturdiness? More sturdish? Sturdish isn't a word, I know that's for sure. Sturdily is, no, yeah, sturdily's got to be a word. I can't be wrong. I can't have said something ignorant. That's not possible. Okay. And just press it. I'm just going to go ahead and be extra cautious and splice over all three sides so that I can just open up the whole thing. Okay. Oh, that's why there's a slight curve, because you got this extra little bit of cardboard that's in there. Ooh. Oh, yay. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to, let's see. Let's scissor this here to get the remaining tape off. And then we are going to just cut this bag open completely. If I can figure it out. All right, so I don't know if you can see this piece through it, but it is a beaut. As you can see, it's a little bit longer than normal pieces. Now, is because it is a pan background. Now, I will preface it by saying this is not a screen-used pan background. But hear me out on it. Don't get too disappointed. So, this is from An American Tail. It is so gorgeous. This is such a superb, wonderful painting. I'm gonna get you some close-up on some of the details here. Look at the colors and just the detail of all this. You can see here all this little detail in the bottle here. It is just an absolutely gorgeous piece. But I want to show you, and you might have saw these words on the front here, but I'm going to show you the back real quick. If you look here, oh, I have it upside down. No good. This was rejected. So this is not the actual piece that you see within the film. If you watch An American Tail and you get to this scene, I believe that Fievel is crossing this board up at the top with his new companion friend, and then his dad and I believe sister are below, and they're just crossing each other's paths. It's got a kind of a Scooby-Doo moment to it where they're right next to each other, but they're just missing out on each other. And this is not the background that is used in that scene. This was rejected, and I think that is phenomenal. One, because it's so good. It's so brilliant. It's so beautiful, and it was just rejected. No, we don't like, there's something about this we don't like. Just do it over from scratch. I mean, this isn't like, you see some of the, a lot of the backgrounds I have, from certain shows. Like I have a Keymaster setup from Powerpuff Girls, and the background for that is just green. I mean, they just painted a sheet of paper green, and that was it. And it was like, oh, that's the master background. Well, this is like so intricate and in depth, and they didn't use it. And I think that's so cool. So you got no good at the top, NG for no good. And you also have this little notation here and that is DB for Don Bluth. So Don Bluth initialed it up there. I'm assuming either one, to approve that he had seen it, or to approve that it was no good and that these no goods are actually legitimate. I don't know. But then we also have Don Bluth sign this piece, and Gary Goldman, who was always part of the production. I'm not sure exactly his involvement on that. I don't know as much about Gary, but Don Bluth, it's a signed piece. And here's the thing. This piece was perfect for me because, one, I actually like original production use. I want to be able to see it in the film. I have a Keymaster set up from another show that, like, it is the exact way that it looked in the film, and that's the way I have it framed. I have had people that have said, I have this cell, or I know the person who did this cell. I can have them sign it for you. And I'm always, 90% of the time, I'm opposed to it because I want it preserved. I want it to be exactly the way it looked on film. And so to sign a background or a cell or something like that, maybe a sketch drawing I would allow. A background or a cell, I don't know, unless it was already signed and I thought, okay, I got to have that signature, I would be opposed to having them ruin the piece of artwork. Because this was not screen used, sign away. And so this is a perfect marriage for me. I have a piece that's signed by Don Bluth. It doesn't ruin the original production film used piece that's on screen, but it's able to tell this huge story about the process. The fact that this was not used blows my mind. It is so good. How could they not have used this? And again, I don't know. Was it the lighting? Was it, certain things? And you'll notice, I'll try to put a comparison up, but the apples are not the same. They're in a different orientation, which is fine. I mean, they were just painting these apples. But one thing I noticed was on this little, pewter carrier fruit plate or something, it has these this little filigree and these little flowers here. And that is not on the film production. It is just pretty much plain that I could tell. Also on the bottle, I think there's maybe a little bit more detail on the bottle, like where you can make out a word. Why'd they make those changes? I don't know. And there's no notes on here specifically to be like, oh, you need to do this again, but do it with brighter colors or darker colors, or do this again, but there's way too many apples. I mean, I don't know that would matter. But yeah, it's so perplexing to me how they wouldn't have used this piece, but that is what makes it so interesting to me. And it allows me to have something signed that I don't feel bad about. I don't want to have a sinking feeling in my heart that I ruined an original screen use production piece of artwork. So happy to have this piece. It's great. It's absolutely great. Super thrilled with this piece. It's beautiful. It's a great piece of artwork. It's, a larger pan piece, which, you don't see a lot of those hand painted backgrounds of that size that aren't really, 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 really expensive, which again, this one was, valued at X amount from the dealer. But, you can find these that are really, really outrageously priced. And especially if you have something that was film used. This one was actually not in the final version of the film and was a reject. And that's so amazing to me because it's actually in some ways better than the one that made it on film, in my opinion. Maybe it was the tone of it, the colors, maybe it was supposed to be a little darker feeling or something like that. And that's why they decided to scrap that and redo it again. But I mean, there's some details and intricacies of this one that you don't even see on the film. And maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe it was too fancy and they wanted a little bit more plain and not to detract. But the fact that such a beautiful piece of artwork was rejected. I mean, the amount of detail that is looked at when producing one of these films. I mean, back in the day, they were ruthless. They said, this isn't exactly the way that I want it. Redo it from scratch. Just repaint that entire background. And I mean, can you imagine being the person that took the time and effort to do that scene with that much detail and just starting over from scratch? Not a big deal. Whatever. Just go ahead and start from scratch. I mean, that's incredible. So I am thrilled with this piece. I think it was a little bit less expensive because it wasn't a screen use piece. I got it for trade. And so, I mean, in my mind, it's practically free. And so it's all icing on the cake. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a really cool piece. I have some other items from American Tail, but this is going to add to that collection and be an example of one of those hand-painted backgrounds. I also have another piece from Charlotte's Web that's a pan background, and I believe it is a rejected piece. It's the Arable Farm, and it's like this nighttime scene, and I can't find that specific piece within the movie itself. So maybe it either wasn't used or I can't locate it exactly, or maybe it was too zoomed in and so I can't make it out specifically. I think it might just be a reject, but it's beautiful. And I have it framed right next to a Keymaster setup I had from Charlotte's Web. So, I'm pleased to have this in my collection. Can't wait to get it framed up and hung on the wall. Thanks for watching the Pop Art Hunter channel. We hope you enjoyed yourself and you like watching our videos. Like, subscribe, and all those sorts of things. Check us out on Facebook and comment down below and all those sorts of things. We will see you next time right here on the Pop Art Hunter channel.